If you're in your 20s and you want to get rich, you're going to need to do this one thing. This will be the deciding factor between you ending up broke versus you living a life of financial abundance. Now, I know a lot of my audience, you guys are young, you still have your whole life ahead of you. And the reason why you're watching my channel is because you care about your future. You want to live a life that you're proud of. You want to go on nice vacations. You want to be able to retire your parents or even buy all the fancy things. Now, I want this video to inspire you guys to chase one singular thing in your 20s, and that is building up your skill sets. I have interviewed hundreds of different people, so many successful entrepreneurs, and one thing that almost everyone agrees on is the fact that you need to spend your younger years building up skills. And so we're going to explore this topic in depth in this video, and by the end of it, you'll know exactly what to do to build those skills, as well as why it's going to help you out so much in your future. So like most entrepreneurs, in my early days, I was always chasing money. I was always trying to figure out what things I could sell. For example, I sold candy back in 6th grade. That was my first real business. I used to find things that were on sale and then flip them for profit on eBay as well as Craigslist. Yeah, money was always on my mind, not just saving it, but also how I could make it. I was always so intrigued by how other people made their own money because I just didn't like spending my parents' money. It made me feel guilty. And so middle school, high school, as well as even college, I was one of the most frugal people you will probably ever meet. I was so frugal in fact that it was kind of annoying. Now I think this type of mindset led me to chasing money. And guys, that's not the right mindset to have when you're trying to build the life of your dreams. I get that money is an important byproduct or currency in today's world, but in my opinion, the ultimate currency today is freedom. And to achieve freedom, you need to get into entrepreneurship. And so going back to my younger self, you guys are probably in a similar situation. You want to make money, you're sort of chasing money just like I was. And guys, that's amazing. That's really great. But if you tweak this mindset just a little bit, it's going to absolutely be a game changer. So instead of thinking of what's in it for me financially, think of it in terms of what's in it for me skills-wise. What can I actually learn from what I'm doing? Basically, I thought that I was trying to build businesses, but in hindsight, I was actually just building skills. And so yes, most of these businesses, they didn't end up doing that well, or I stopped doing them later on, which is totally okay. But I was left with the skills that I learned from doing those businesses. And so instead of going to your 20s thinking, hey, I want to start this business, I want to do this and that, chasing all the money, instead tell yourself, I'm going to do these businesses not because I want to make money, but because I want to chase those skills that I can learn. And those skills are going to allow me to build my future business, which is going to be the real moneymaker. Everything I did before, they pale in comparison to the businesses that I do right now. And that's because I took all the skills I learned from those businesses and I applied them to what I'm doing today. And I guarantee you, if you do that, you are going to land on one successful business that is going to change your life. For me, it was making a content-driven business. And for you, it's likely going to be something that you haven't even thought of today. So don't think that whatever your business you're trying to start right now is going to be the thing you're doing forever. Likely you might make some money, it might not do well, who knows? But these are all stepping stones that lead us to the ultimate business that you'll start later on in your life. And that business, you guys, is what you're truly aiming for. Okay, so let's talk a little bit more about skills. So in today's economic society, people's value really depends on the things that they're able to do, the things that they know, and the things that they can build. As we go through life, we develop new skills, new knowledge, and new practical applications of said knowledge. That's really why some people peak after high school or college. It's just because they stopped learning things. They thought, oh, I know everything there is to know in life. And so instead of learning new things constantly, I'm just going to try and apply what I know already into a business or my 9-to-5 job. This is so dangerous because it effectively means that they stop learning. When you stop learning, you stop developing skills. When you stop developing skills, that's when you stop growing. And that literally is when you get crushed by other people. Those that do super well in life, I can guarantee you, they are lifelong learners. They are curious. They love building new skills. They love learning new knowledge. And when you continuously have this mindset, all these things, they compound on each other. They grow inside your head and they allow you to be this ultra high impact person that can really make money and make businesses and make big change in this world. So now you're probably wondering, why are skills so important and how do they actually relate to the business that I want to build? Well, behind every single business, there is a skill, right? A business, when you strip it down to its fundamentals, is an exchange of value. The business has a product or a service that they give to other people, and those people in exchange give money or some other type of currency. Anything of value has a skill behind it. Otherwise, it wouldn't be valuable. So for example, if I wanted to go out and start an app company, I just wouldn't be able to do it. And the fundamental reason why is because I don't know how to code. I don't have that skill set. Yes, I could go out and hire people to code for me, but as a CEO, I won't understand what's being done. I'm gonna have no way to check their work, and that's basically how you get got. If I want to be really successful with whatever app I'm building, I would go ahead and learn how how to code. Or we will talk about this later on more, but you can partner with someone that you can really trust. But for 99% of you guys watching this, you are still trying to start your first real business. And to do so and to be successful at it, you're gonna need that skill. So today I've built up a good amount of skills, but I am nowhere near where I want to be in terms of the things I want to know. And so my skills today, they allow me to build a limited set of companies or businesses, but there are still so many other businesses in the world that I just can't make. But as I keep developing new businesses, I will be able to do more things. And learning skills doesn't just allow you to build a business, it's going to allow you to build a business within a business. For example, with my online education company, if I were to learn how to code, then I could potentially teach other people how to code. I could start creating an app that would help people learn different skills. You sort of get the point, right? The skills that you're building, the sole purpose is not just to help you start a business. It's going to help you be able to grow whatever current businesses you already have or start in the future. Now, how do you actually build skills? This is a really important part of this video. And I know I've sort of really tried to drill into your head just how important skills are, but there are really great ways to learn skills and there are really bad ways to learn skills. The really bad way to learn skills is to just go out and watch a lot of content, read a lot of books, get help from a mentor, but not actually apply it. I think this is what most people do. I'd say at least 95% of people. And that's because learning things by itself, it's pretty comfortable, right? You are sitting at your home on your computer, staring at a screen, reading things or watching things. That's pretty easy. Now, what most people don't do is take that knowledge and actually apply it in the real world. And that's what's going to separate learners from doers. And so what I recommend doing is you want to spend the morning watching YouTube, learning things, reading books, whatever it is. And what you're going to do is in the afternoon, you're going to take that knowledge that you learned that day and actually do something with it. Therefore, you have this sort of cycle where you're learning, applying it, learning, applying it, and so on. This is basically how I learned how to make websites. I would watch tutorials online in the morning and then go ahead and use that knowledge and actually build websites. So as of today, I have built dozens of websites. Almost all of them no longer exist, but by building those websites, I learned how to build websites. And so now anytime I start a business and that business ultimately needs a website, I'm going to be in a very advantageous position. You can literally apply the same exact concept to pretty much any skill out there. And so whether or not you want to learn a new language, learn how to code, learn how to do copywriting, learn how to use AI tools, whatever it is, learn how to do these things in the morning and then go ahead and actually apply those skills into the real world. And another tip I have for you guys is if you are learning things, write it down. If you don't write something down, it's like you never learned it. You guys can probably relate to this if you listen to podcasts or watch YouTube videos. Yes, you're getting that information into your brain, but that information, if you don't repeat it, if you don't go ahead and write it down and look at it later, it's going to almost completely disappear. And so after I started doing this, when I listen to podcasts, once a week, I'll go through my notes and relearn the things that I wrote down. Everything I write down is written down for a reason because I think it's going to help me at a future date. So use your phone, buy a notepad, buy a binder, whatever works for you, figure out a way to translate what you're learning into something that's physical, something that you can reference later on. And then going back to how you guys can learn skills fast, because if you're watching this, you probably have a lot of things that you want to learn. You feel like there's not enough time and you sort of get this like analysis paralysis that is super common with people. Trust me, I've experienced it myself. As you guys will notice, when you build more and more skills, it's going to make learning other skills a lot easier. That's just pretty much how it goes. You essentially have more context to be able to understand different things. So if you're starting out and you're trying to learn skills for the first time, yes, it will be a little bit more tough at the beginning, but just know that as you learn more skills, it's going to get easier. For example, for me, if you guys have seen any of my other videos on this channel, I do a lot of street interviews. I go out and interview random strangers and ask them how much money they make, what they do for a living, stuff like that. Now, that did not come naturally to me, you guys. I had to learn how to do that. And so I'd spend the mornings watching other interview videos. I took courses on how to interview. I watched so many podcasts on this topic. And yeah, that was all step one. But step two is really where I learned how to be a pretty good interviewer, I'd say. I took that knowledge and I just went outside and I did it. I'd say that in this case, I had a good amount of grit and I was able to put my ego aside. So a lot of you guys watching this video, one reason why you may not be able to go outside and actually apply whatever skill you're learning is because you are scared of failing and you are scared of how other people are going to judge you if you fail. It is so important for you guys to remove your ego and just go for it. I want to play this clip because it really stood out to me. When I interviewed this person at Coachella, it really blew my mind because it was so simple yet so life-changing.
Nobody is thinking about you. They're all thinking about themselves. So get over any of that stuff. Get out there. Just be you and you'll attract your tribe.
So after you get over that mental mindset block, the next thing you're going to need is grit. And I'll let Andrew Pascal, who's someone I interviewed, actually explain this. What is a trait that you see over and over again in successful people?
Grit. Don't give up. Don't look at failures as setbacks. Look at them as opportunities to learn something and evolve and then just keep moving forward. So grit, without a doubt.
And yeah, it's true. I needed grit to actually force myself to go out there. It's not easy. It's definitely going to be out of your comfort zone to apply whatever knowledge you learn. But guys, that is the most important part. Another thing I am really not good at is sales and cold calling. I'm just really not good at convincing other people I have some type of skill or worth that will help them. And one of the first examples of this was when I was a tutor. So after college, I was a part-time tutor. That was one way that I made my money. And I remember one day my rate for one of my students, it was $50 per hour. So pretty good. I remember I was doing a session with her and then her dad came in. Her dad is a CEO. He is a multi-millionaire. And he was basically like, Charlie, you're charging too much. I need you to charge less. And so instead of telling him, hey, I'm worth $50 because X, Y, Z, I sort of just crumbled. And in the end, my rate went back down to $35 an hour. I was unable to sell myself, and that moment still really sticks with me. If you think about the impact that one conversation had, that one lack of a skill had on me, it was a lot of future money, right? And so that's when I realized, okay, sales is actually really important. And that's when I started listening to podcasts about it, watching YouTube videos, and all that stuff. Now, I'm still not that great at sales, and it really comes down to because I just don't do it enough. Yes, I've been learning about it on the sidelines, but I'm not actually going out there and applying that knowledge. That's why I have sort of failed at learning sales. I just really hope that my story can sort of inspire you because, hey, we're all going through things like this. We're all struggling with the practical applications because that is the hardest part. And yeah, you guys might see me doing pretty well, going out there, interviewing people, doing stuff like that. But I faced all these struggles myself too, but eventually got over them because I actually went outside with grit and applied it. One of my favorite quotes is this one: stay afraid, but do it anyway. What's important is the action. You don't have to wait to be confident. Just do it, and eventually the confidence will follow. Don't gaslight your fear, acknowledge it, and get over that hump that everyone experiences. Another quote that really stuck out with me is one that Tom Bilyeu said. I actually got to experience this live in person, and it definitely changed my life. He basically said, if you have your skills, you'll be good. Identifying as a learner means you will always have self-respect. And yeah, it's true, right? The fundamental thing about business is that it's all based on skills. So what I want you guys to take away from this video is instead of chasing money, instead of chasing businesses, which sound sexy since, you know, social media shows entrepreneurship in such a golden light, instead of chasing that stuff, chase the skills that help build that stuff. Chase knowledge, chase practical application of that knowledge. And if you do this in your 20s, by the time you're in your late 20s or in your 30s, the impact that you will be able to make on this world is just going to be insane. And with that impact comes financial success and living the life that you always want to live. Well, all right, that was a fun video to make. Hopefully I didn't go on too many tangents. But yeah, as you guys can tell, this is something that I am extremely passionate about. So if just one of you watching this video actually takes this information and starts building real skills, that is going to make this whole video worth it. I'll link down below a ChatGPT video that I made. It will essentially teach you how to learn skills using ChatGPT, which should really speed up the process. And we'll also leave a link down below to Side Hustle Mastery. This is my company that basically builds out free courses for you guys. And we basically teach you the different skills you need to build certain businesses. All right, thank you so much for your time. If you guys enjoyed the video, make sure to hit that like button and also subscribe for more content just like this. I make a ton of videos about personal finance, entrepreneurship, and investing. Thanks for your time, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.